Hello, everyone. This is Dave Paulsen, head men's basketball coach at George Mason University, with episode 13, maybe 14, I don't know, of our distancing dialogues. Today, we've got Tyler Jorns, our director of scouting and analytics, with us. Every week, if you've just this is the first time you've tuned in, doing these dialogues with current and former assistant coaches, sharing the game during this pandemic, and also trying to give back. So every week, I donate to a relief agency, and then hope that anyone who watches this would do the same. This week, I'm donating again, which I did a few times earlier in the year, to Coaches versus Cancer. American Cancer Society strikes home for me and for Tyler and everyone in Mason Nation, as our longtime radio play-by-play voice, Bill Rulin, just was confronted with a cancer diagnosis, and everyone in Mason Nation is wishing Bill luck. Our prayers and support go out to him. So, a long introduction. Tyler, glad to have you on board here.
Thanks for having me, Coach. And I'll go ahead and do the same in honor of Bill, and we'll both donate to the same organization together, and in support of trying to fight this cancer disease, and hopefully we can make a difference.
All right, awesome. And I'm sure Bill will be tuning in. So again, before we kind of go to the screen sharing and clinic part, just talk with everyone kind of about their coaching journey. So Tyler, you were a student manager here at Mason under both Coach Larinaga and Coach Hewitt.
Yep.
Talk about that experience as a student manager, what you did, what you learned, how it was beneficial for you going into coaching career.
Yeah, so, like you said, started off as a student manager for both 2 years for Coach L and then 2 years for Coach Hewitt. And, that for me was kind of the first foot in the door, if you will, to kind of get this coaching career started. And a lot of it obviously was, getting the towels, grabbing the water, making sure practice is set up, making sure the guys have what they need, the coaches have what they need, everything's ready to go. And that for me was kind of the first introduction to the hard work that it takes to kind of be in this business, and, just kind of that forward thinking a little bit about planning and setting up, and, you get in a rhythm of, okay, Coach Hewitt likes things a certain way, or Coach L likes things a certain way. So it's kind of making sure you're getting to places early, setting up, making sure everything's ready to go, so that on your end, the coaches can coach, the players can play, and that's all they're worried about. So that's really what I tried to do as far as when I was a student manager, making sure that, those coaches and players weren't worrying about anything other than what they needed to be in order to be effective and get the job done. So that was always my mindset. And I tried to do that any way I could. So that for me was kind of the first introduction to this world a little bit. And then from there, Coach Hewitt I was fortunate enough after I graduated to have Coach Hewitt hire me as the director of player development for a year. And so that was really my first introduction to doing this full time. And it was a lot of helping out with the operations stuff. It was a lot of still doing some of those managerial duties as far as, making sure practice is set up and things like that, and kind of managing the staff of managers. And then from there, I was fortunate enough to get on with the Utah Jazz for a year, being hired as a video intern. And then that year was phenomenal, getting to experience, basketball at the highest level, working for Quinn Snyder in his first year, and then use that to go to the Air Force Academy, be the video coordinator and a coach at the Air Force Academy for 2 years, and then back here with you.
So let's break some of this stuff down. So the student manager experience, in addition to all the details that you did to really, as you said, help practice run so the coaches could coach and the players could play. How did it help prepare you, for becoming a coach?
Well, I think, kind of that forward thinking a little bit is just always being prepared. That's the thing that I've always tried to do is kind of have that forward thinking mindset a little bit about trying to erase problems, erase issues that may come up. And so it's being prepared and detailed in your work. And that's the biggest thing that I always took from it, just so that everybody's focus can stay singular. We can all be working towards one goal. And as a team, we can work together, and everybody's got a different role to play. And as long as we're doing that, we can do anything.
Okay, now then is your position for Coach Hewitt as Director of Player Development. That was a high-paying job, right?
I'd like to think so.
No money, right?
I was making a couple thousand stipend money, yeah.
A couple thousand. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I think is interesting, and again, who knows, besides your immediate family and my immediate family, who else is going to be listening? But I think that there's people who want to get into college coaching, and just understanding all the steps along the way, and also the sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
So you did that for a couple $1,000 stipend. You went out to make the big bucks in Utah. What did that job pay?
That was $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month as a video intern for the Utah Jazz. But you probably made more than that on your per diem, huh?
A little bit, yeah. I was fortunate enough to kind of get elevated into a role where I started traveling and things like that. So I did make more money on per diem than I was in my quote-unquote salary.
Okay. And most of the stuff that you're going to do when we share your screen is going to be with the Utah Jazz stuff, right? So We're going to go back and talk a little bit about that experience at the end, and then segue right into the film. Talk about the time at the Air Force Academy and what you learned from there, and how that helped shape you as a person, as a coach.
Yeah, so the Air Force Academy is an incredible place. It really, really is. You're so fortunate to be around kids and athletes that have a bigger goal than just to play basketball. The reason that they're coming to the Air Force Academy is just to play basketball, but it's also for their futures, to help serve the country and get their careers set up on a path moving forward. That they can really make a life out of. So that experience was incredible, and the 2 years getting to work with those athletes. I tell you, I've never been around a more hardworking bunch than those kids, and it's the type of place they got to wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and be dressed in full uniform, eat breakfast, go to class. So they're in class from about 7:15 in the morning till about noon. And they eat, and then they come right down for practice, and every day is the same. It's a grind, and you're trying to get as much out of them as they can. And to watch those kids have to do that every day, and then try to compete in the Mountain West for San Diego State and UNLV and Utah State and some of those powerhouses, it's a tribute to those kids and their character. And being around those kids, it makes you really appreciate the character behind kind of the work ethic and the people that you want to coach, and the people that you want to be successful with, because there are days, especially in that conference, we're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it with how they practice. You wouldn't know it with how they conduct themselves. They're on time to things. They're respectful. And so that for me was an enjoyable experience to kind of always keep things in perspective a little bit, about what they're going through, and not only the classes they have to take, but some of the drills they have to do in the morning and during the summertime and things like that. And just to see them do that and kind of, like I said, keep the level head and the respect and the character. I can't say enough about those kids. It's actually incredible. That's
awesome. That's great. That's a great tribute to those people and the Air Force Academy. So again, we'll go back to Utah Jazz and what you picked up, and fun to watch them now in the bubble and as we go into the playoffs. Here, so so it's interesting. Again, when I hired you as my grad assistant, way overqualified in terms of a year in the NBA, 2 years as an assistant with the Air Force Academy. We were very, very fortunate for you to be able to, the attraction of coming back to your alma mater closer to home, which was great. But 2 years as a grad assistant and now going to your second year as director of scouting and analytics. So just explain. Now, I kind of know what you do. So we're not going to, it's not for me, but I don't really know all that you do. But for the people who do happen to be watching, what's all involved? What I think a lot of people are like, well, what's the director of scouting and analytics do?
Right.
So just talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, here at Mason, like you said, Coach, it's an alma mater. I've been here for a number of years. So I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where at George Mason, I kind of have my hand in a little bit of everything, and maybe working with the SID or working with certain administration people, marketing, whatever. So because I have those relationships, those longstanding relationships with people, it makes it really easy to kind of have your hand in a couple different pots. But basketball wise, so I do our scheduling, which is a challenge this year. And then, from a scouting and analytics standpoint, I think the biggest thing that I do is I try to kind of group all the information together and present it to you guys, the staff, in a way that's digestible, in a way that then you can present them to the players. And it's all the analytics, offensively, defensively, rebounding, the things that we care about, our core values, our absolutes, tracking those things. And so that's kind of a little bit of it's a long-winded answer of and a general answer of kind of what I do, but that's the best way that I can describe it. You're watching basketball a lot, you're picking up tendencies, you're watching opponents and relaying that information to you guys so you can relay it to the players. And it's just kind of it's nice having those basketball responsibilities, and in a lot of ways in that regard, it makes you feel like you are working in the NBA, because you're scouting and you're doing all those things, but you're not recruiting. So you can really kind of focus on all that stuff and make it as detailed as possible.
Well, you're too humble, okay, which I wouldn't normally say, but so I'll fill people in. Okay, so on a typical day, during the season or during practice, you're there early, setting up the film, setting up the camera, filming practice every day, breaking it down, disseminating it to all the coaches so we can watch a practice. You will come up with some clips that you think we should watch with our guys, different assistant coaches, myself. Hey, Jornsy, can you put this in, this and this in? It might be sending some clips to a player. That would be one component of it. Getting all the games of opponents, downloading them from Synergy, and many times translating them into our sport code, sending them to assistant coaches, helping with the breakdown of that, helping break down our game film after every game, for us to present to our players. A lot of the things that I've used Tyler for this extended sabbatical, if you will, is that we've done a lot of video analysis and projects of different teams who like what they do offensively or like what they do defensively. So again, I'll say, hey, Jornsy, can you give me an edit of, BYU's offense? Or this team's. And just the other day, it was the first day I think it was the first day out of the bubble. And Utah ran a great ATO. And I just, I was able to say, hey, Jornsy, 7:43 left the third quarter. Utah ATO. They get a stagger screen for a guy for a jumper. Next day was on my, in my inbox. People can see the chicken scratch on my grease board back here. You take that chicken scratch and put it into PDFs, into quick draw diagrams. So that's just a minor fraction of that. Again, it's with scheduling, contacting people, trying to see if they want to play. That is a major pain in the rear end, and not get better. So there's just so many things that go without saying. Now, before we get to Utah Jazz, so two questions, and you got to be completely honest. All right.
Okay.
Of the full-time coaches, myself, Coach Simpkins, Coach Joseph, and Coach Johnson, okay, who ranks last in their technological ability?
Oh, you know who you are, Simp.
All right, so I'm not last. Okay, then we want that just to be very, very clear. Would you say I'm cutting edge with my technology game?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Always a work in progress.
All right, okay. All right, last question. True or false? You
Okay.
were relieved that there was a downpour yesterday, so I could not kick your rear end on the golf course.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that's false.
Okay.
So
That's to be determined later on later on. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Utah Jazz. And before you share your screen, just again, to me, one of the attractions in bringing you back here, certainly an alum, your passion for Mason, but bringing some things from the NBA specifically that I thought could really augment and enhance what we do. So talk a little bit about your experience working for Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz.
yeah, Quinn is an incredible coach. He's extremely detailed. He's extremely intelligent, and he knows what he wants. So, and what I mean by that is, he has a clear picture in his head, and he's able to put pen to paper, if you will, or put expo marker to a whiteboard, and kind of make those thoughts a reality. And he's very conscious of how he is presenting things to the team. So a part of what I would do there is, as my job as a video intern, I would cut up almost every single scout opponent throughout the year. Now we had a couple of different guys who would help me with it, but almost every single opponent. So going into, let's say you're playing Portland and Quinn wants to watch the last 6 Portland Trailblazers games, I'd have him cut up, ready to go, digestible for him, offense, defense, play calls that we would get sent from our scouts are in there, and all that stuff. Maybe some analytical numbers with, how often Damian Lillard likes to drive left, or, when he's going right off of a ball screen, he's more likely to pull up than attack the big, things like that. And then he would work in conjunction with the assistant that has the scout. And from there, we're able to all 3 of us are able to kind of compile and generate that scouting report, one for the coaches, one for the players. And then you go and you formulate your game plan based on that, your coverages and what you're going to put in and shoot around and work on in prior days up to the game. And so it was just a constant cycle of doing that, because games are happening all the time. And so for me, I typically would get in the office about 7 a.m. We would meet at about 8, and then we'd have practice or shoot around, eat lunch, and then you're usually leaving the office around probably like 4 o'clock or so. But then, like I said, you got to cut up some games at night, and they're happening at all different time zones. So You could get lucky and have a West Coast game, or excuse me, an East Coast game that's on a little bit earlier, or you could have a West Coast game that keeps you up a little bit later. And sometimes it's 2-3 games a night, and you better have them ready by 7 in the morning. So even though you're leaving the office at 4, you're probably working until about midnight, just about every night.
Yeah, that's great. Well, why don't you share your screen and share some of the stuff that that you found interesting, or that there is this film stuff from current or from past?
This is from the past, when I was there, 2014, 2015 season.
All right.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. And so, as I mentioned, Quinn, extremely detailed. So what we're going to go through is some of the special situations, the after timeouts, after free throws, end of game, things like that, that we had built into our families of sets, if you will. So, you can see all the layers, how they build out, whether it be calls, reads, wrinkles, things like that. So we'll just kind of go ahead and get right into it. So one of the things that we would do out of secondary, and we just called this set rip. So this is after a free throw. Super simple. Coach, we've called this zipper, but that wing, that two-man that's running the baseline, he's going to set this screen for the big right here, just to dive into the post, get a quick, simple post up for a good player. And Derek Favors has a matchup that's favorable. Go to work. Easy. Similar, got the screen right here. On the other block, space it out, let Fave go to work. That's money. So now we got a little wrinkle out of it. Okay, we've shown that we do this. Okay, right here you see the big is going to immediately undercut this screen and try to beat Fave to the block.
Yep.
So he's just going to come and set this ball screen right here. You can see all this room is wide open for Dante to just go ahead and try to attack. He ends up being a little passive there, but we end up getting a good shot out of it. He just happens to miss that one. So now similar, again, we've done rip, boom. So now instead we just turn it in, flip it into an alley screen, right? Get a good ball handler, right-handed, downhill towards the baseline. Okay, Golden State covers it pretty well. Lift the opposite big right here into what we would call a shirt. Keep it moving, move some pieces. Andrew Bogut way out of position to guard that. Gordon gets a nice pull-up. Similar concept of the shirt. So we're going to get to our rip, except this time Gordon's going to stay high. Okay, so he's not clearing. He's going to stay high right here. Fave turns it into an alley. Boom. And now we're playing right there. Just all the different layers, all the menu options.
Back. A little bit more. Okay.
So you got that hook screen right there.
Yeah, you got the hook, and then in this case it was a hand back, but if you reversed it to Gordon Hayward, then they could come up and set that blind middle ball screen, right?
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, and he just flips the screen right there, rescreen, get a good look for a really, really good player. Now something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more complex. Okay, so you see Trevor Booker there in the opposite lunge spot right here.
Yep.
Okay, what he's going to do, Rudy's going to hook it. He's going to run under and go to what we refer to as a short. He's going to hit. And then now Gordon from here is going to dive the opposite 45, get fouled. So Rudy on that purposefully stays high. So he sets this. Now he's not diving because we want that lane open for that slash right there. Similar, just again, building layers into this out of secondary. Gordon dives, doesn't have it,
Left.
and now he's just follow in for kind of like a funky
Wow.
funky little handoff right there, turn it into a, kind of like a zoom action. Gordon's able to turn the corner, find Rudy. Just another example of the same thing here, just a little bit better. Boom, Gordon dives, Rudy stays high. Gordon's able to turn the corner, find Rudy again. Again, same thing, okay? Now we're trying to get a 3 out of it, or a 3 is an option out of it. So you got the same thing here. Rodney Hood's coming down the baseline, turns the corner. Portland does a really good job. This guy sucking in on a dynamic roller, hit the throwback, 3.
That's your 4-man who shot the 3 there?
That's the 4-man, yep.
The guy who made the short roll early.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
So now last one. So this one, you got Steve Novak is playing the 4 right now. So he's a shooter. So we don't really want him posting up or anything. So he's just going to go in space. And instead, Gordon's just going to pop out and kind of get that ball screen right there. Fan out to Steve, catch and shoot, easy rhythm 3. You just happen to miss it. So that was just an example out of secondary, okay? A half-court entry. We would do this a lot. Again, it's just one of our simple families, if you will, of sets. So everything is going to look similar, to start, and then you'll see all the wrinkles and all the layers that build on each other. So the 4-man, it starts kind of in a horns. The 4-man's going to get to the wing. 5 sets this little back screen for 1, and this is just a normal, and then it kind of turns into that ball screen continuity a little bit. Obviously, the shot clock is not as long, so we get it back to the 3rd side, and it's an automatic post up. Fave goes to work. All right. Again, a little wrinkle. So 4-man's going to get out to the wing right there. Set the back screen again. Okay, hit the 5. Everything looks normal, except now he's just going to come right back to a little zoom action with Gordon right here. 4-man sets the screen, and now we're playing that way. Again, same entry, different wrinkle. 4-man gets it, sets the back screen. Instead of reversing it to the 5, he's just automatically going to go quick and play with Gordon in a 2-man game right here. Fave, the 5-man, has the option to clean it up if he wants. But in this case, Gordon's able to turn the corner easy and get a jumper. Again, same thing. Okay, 4-man getting out, except now he just flips this into a high ball screen, and you can see the big, they switched this big to big, so this is Paul Millsap right here. He's thinking that the 4-man is just going to get out to the wing. He's low, allows Gordon just to rise up. He's out of position. Get it. Easy 3 for an all-star.
Jorns, was that if they switched the 5-4 exchange on the horns initial? Was that your automatic read then to go to the ball screen, or?
Not necessarily for us. In this particular year, our 4 and our 5 were so similar, so it really didn't matter. It wasn't like it was automatic. We didn't care. The defensive matchup, who was guarding who, because they were so similar.
Yeah. Okay, Trey's going to try to bring it down, attacking secondary, doesn't have anything.
All right, what I like about this is now there's 13 seconds on the shot clock. Okay, we don't panic. We still get to our set. Again, it's just going to look a little bit different. All right, instead of that 4-man setting the ball screen, this 5-man is going to come and he's going to send it right. Just a little different, get a throwback to a good player, drive a closeout, and now we're playing advantage basketball, get a rhythm 3 at the end of the shot clock. Okay, again, something similar, hit, except now the 1, instead of setting this back screen, he's going to come back for a little flip. And the intention of this is to turn it into a staggered screen. Chicago does a really good job of getting to their down early. So instead, Ennis just flips it. Okay, now we're playing, get it to the pocket, skip to the corner. Jimmy Butler comes over way too far, leaving Gordon Hayward for a 3. Okay, similar look, except now you're going to move some pieces. Okay, you're going to try to change who the hoop man is while getting a high ball screen back for Trey Burke. So you see here, 2's right here is going to go over the top. 3 is going to cut baseline just to kind of create some indecision, create some movement. Trey's going to come right back off that back screen for a down screen, and now we're playing in a middle ball screen handoff situation. The floor is staying spaced, got a lot of room up top there to operate. Again, similar. Okay, everything looks the same except now, on purpose, 3 is staying in the corner. Okay, and you'll see why in a second. So you want this action going on right here. As far as these guys are concerned, it looks like the exact last play. Hold on. And now Trey's just going to not even try to use the ball screen. He's just going to pass it immediately, and you're into a zoom, motion concepts, whatever. Just get to that 3-man side, get to a post up, kick out, and get a good rhythm 3 playing advantage basketball. Okay, now we've done this, and now we're trying to get our 3-man Gordon Hayward involved in the same action, same set. So everything looks the same, right? Gordon's going through, 2-man's coming over, except now Gordon's just coming right up instead of the 1. And boom, you get him involved in a high ball screen, get a really good player, a good shot. Again, similar concept. Now you just want the 2-man involved. So instead, these guys are just, the 3's going to stay here in the corner. Those guys are going to set that stagger for the 2-man to come get the ball screen. And now we're just playing. Rodney does a really good job, just can't finish it right there. Now, similar concept to the play before. So again, you got your 4-man out right here. We're in our initial spacing. Okay, they set the stagger for the 2-man right there to come up, except he curls it. Now we want to get the 1 involved in a naked alley situation. Okay, get going downhill, corners cleared, and this guy right here, the hoop man, we got Steve Novak playing the 3, one of the best shooters in the world. Watch the hoop man. He is so hesitant to leave Steve Novak. He's late to the rim on a dynamic roller, throw it up there, let Rudy go get it. Okay, another way to get the 3-man involved. So the 4-man comes over. Instead of getting a catch, he's just going to set this wide pin down right here for the 3, and now it's just back screen, ball screen, kind of like normal chin action, a way to get this guy hopefully dislodged. Pelicans do a pretty good job down in this. That's okay because we got this whole right side of the floor, and the middle is wide open for Derek Favors to go right down the lane and score. All right, another way, again, just to disguise everything, one quick layer, set the back screen, reverse through the 5, everything looks normal. Now you just got this little action right here, the 3 man is clearing out, and now you turn it into a zoom for Trey Burke, come back and get it, dynamic roller, get to the rim, get fouled.
They call that a gaggle. Is that right?
Yes, that's not exactly a gaggle, but it's funny. I do actually have a gaggle example in here, but similar.
All right.
All right, this was one that we would actually run a lot of. It was really, really effective for us. So we don't really start it exactly right, but obviously you can see here, we're in our spacing. We're exactly where we need to be. Everything's good. Got the back screen there. Okay, so this is very similar to one previous where I said Ennis is just going to go ahead and play with Gordon. Fave can clean it up if he wants. He chooses, except now Trey Burke is going to set this cross screen right here.
Yep.
And this ball screen's fluff. Gordon's going to kick it quick, get a post up. So watch Trey's man, Zach LaVine is guarding him. He is thinking that Trey is going to run out for this handoff, right? Like in the previous play. So he is way out of position to guard a cross screen. Let a good player go to work on the block. Last one, just something a little bit different. We didn't do this a ton, but it was really effective when we did. So everything looks normal, right? Except now instead of hitting the 4, we're going to throw it to the pinch at the 5. And we like Derek Favors here with both of these bigs. So it doesn't matter, Kevin Love or I think that might be Cole Aldrich at the time. We felt like Fave had a considerable offensive advantage versus both of them. So we're just going to give it to him and let him work.
Cool handoff for your big. Like it.
Yep. All right, side out of bounds. So these were a package, again, a family of side outs that we could use at the end of the game, but it was more throughout the game, take the temperature of some guys, see how the defense is guarding side outs, things like that. So this is just very, very simple. This is our box set. Okay, we call this a box set. You got the 5-man on the strong side elbow, 4-man opposite elbow. This 2-man or a wing is more personnel based rather than positionally based. So this wing is going to be in the corner, and you're going to have your guard down here on the block. So set that down screen, get the ball, and then it just turns into a high ball screen. In this case, we set 2. Easy, simple, space the floor. Again, same look.
A lot of
right
mid-range jump shots I'm seeing in this video.
This was 5 years ago. It's changed a little bit since. So again, similar look. Okay, gets the catch. Well, now instead of this 4-man setting this ball screen, he's just going to come and set this wide pin down for this wing right here. Gets a curl right in the lane. Couldn't believe Gordon missed that one. Again, same thing, okay? Now the 1 is going to be denied, and this could be a call or it could be a read. In this case, I believe it was a call. So he's going to flash up. Everything looks normal, except the 5-man is just going to flash the ball, and he's going to chase for a handoff. Get an offensive rebound. Again, same thing here. Flash of the ball, except now we want to isolate Derek Favors. So he's going to fake this handoff and turn it into an ISO. Just happens to miss the layup, but he had all the space in the world. Again, this is where we get to the gaggle. So this 1-man right here, what he's going to do, and this would always cue this, he's going to curl around this screen right here. And as soon as he does this, that signals these 2 guys, and Ennis kind of messes this one up a little bit. He should be setting this wide pin down, but that signals this guy to come get a catch. So now you got this gaggle right here. You got a pin down or you got a cross screen. So it's just kind of shaped like an L. Whichever one Dante wants to use, he can use.
Which one's
In
that?
this case,
11?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which if he wants to use this kind of flex screen, cross screen, he can.
Yep,
If he
yep.
wants to use this little down screen, he can as well. In this case, he chooses to use the down screen, curls it. Joe pops back. Now you kind of get this low angled corner ball screen, get the reject, and now we're playing advantage basketball. Get Alec Burks in a closeout, get fouled. All right, similar concept again, except this one, again, same set, same formation. All right, Steve Novak is our 4 in this case. You're going to set a back screen for Steve Novak right here. That is an option, depending on, what's the shot clock look like, things like that. That is an option for Steve to shoot that. Rudy is then going to set this wide pin down for the guy in the corner. Come and get it. Joe is going to run all the way across the floor, kind of like a rip cut, Iverson cut. Set a high ball screen. Rudy, a dynamic roller to the rim, gets Joe Ingles a wide open 3. I mean, just watch what Rudy does for this guy right here, this help guy. He sucks him all the way in. Easy pass for an NBA guy. All right, end of game. So this is a formation that we were in a lot, especially early. These were things that we would practice at the end of every shoot around, almost at the end of every practice. Get these guys comfortable with knowing our end of game sets. Now, we never held them responsible to know them on the fly, but we wanted them to have some sort of level of comfort so that when we drew it up in the huddle, it wasn't the first time they were seeing it. So you start in this kind of spread alignment right here. In this case, because it's end of game, our 5-man is not really on the floor, so you pretty much have 4 guards and 1 big. So these 2 guys right here are going to come together. Now you'd like them to get a little bit closer. They're going to come together, hopefully create some indecision. One of them is going to cut baseline to the strong side. Trey Burke is going to come over and screen Derek Favors so that Derek Favors now has a clean path to screen for Gordon Hayward. That's ultimately what we want. Trey does a really good job of getting Fave loose. Now Fave can set a really good screen for Gordon, and now he's got the whole right side of the floor with 3 seconds left to go make a play. Tie game. And now you get an advantage. So now you have this big, I believe this is Tristan Thompson coming out. That is a clear mismatch. Gets him moving one way, step back, 3. Okay, similar alignment. Ironically enough, this happened, I want to say, 2 weeks after we hit the game winner against Cleveland. So we felt and we knew that New York was going to know what we were trying to do based off of this alignment. So something a little bit different. So again, these 2 guys are going to come together, and instead of one guy going to this corner, we're going to stay opposite and stay spaced. Trey's going to come all the way over. Again, set a screen for Derek. The play is for Trey, because we know that New York thinks the play is for Gordon because of what we did against Cleveland. So now you leave this whole side open for Trey right here, and as soon as Gordon comes off, watch the guy guarding the inbounds pass. He jumps immediately and leaves a clear passing lane for our guy to get the ball inbounded to Trey. Now you get the ball to a good player. Shot, game. All right, again, similar alignment. Okay, now what we've done is we've put the inbounder as the guy we want getting the shot. Okay, so again, Trey's going to come all the way over, and instead of this guy going to either corner, he's going to set another screen for him right here, pass it to him. He's going to chase it immediately, and Fave turns around and kind of cleans that up a little bit. Gordon gets a really good look. Unfortunately, doesn't make this one, but a really good look out of the same alignment. Again, same alignment. And what we want here, so this is a little different, okay? It's a two possession game. We have 10 seconds left in the game, so we don't need a 3, but we want the same alignment. So what we're going to do is, again, these two guys are going to come together, and then Rodney's going to go all the way to the strong side corner. Everything looks normal. Trey's going to screen him, right? You got this kind of window dressing up high, right? And we want that on purpose. The play is for Rodney. So what we want is all the bodies above the free throw line, which is what we have, except for this one defender. Inbound, quick rip, and now he has the room to attack while everybody is out of position, not in their gaps, and you get a clear path to the lane, something that took less than 3 seconds, get a basket, and then live to fight another possession. Okay, again, similar lineup, except now you got the ball kind of in that deep corner, right? So
now you're lined up in front of them. Most of them you were lined up further away. Opposite
correct,
side.
correct. So what we want here is this bottom guy right here. He's going to be the guy for the shot. But again, we want it all to look similar, look the same, kind of disguise some stuff. So in every single action that we've seen in this formation so far, the bottom guy has not been a shooter per se. We've given him to in the corner for a rip, but he's not been a shooter. So he's going to come all the way over the top. And then what we want here is this. Watch these two guys right here. So this is one of the first options if we choose to do it. That second screener, he's going to turn around and screen for the third screener. And Book is going to dive right there, maybe get a quick post up. But what we really want is to kind of get I think that's Paul George, get Paul George chasing Gordon Hayward over the top and then bringing him right back right here. Because of that, now Fave's man has to really get extended and help. Fave is wide open for a roll, goes to the rim, gets fouled. Okay, last one, probably my favorite. Again, these two guys are coming together. In this case, it's the top guy that's going to go to the corner, all right? Everything looks similar, but what we really want here, this was the genius of Quinn. He wanted to make this look like a mess. Okay, he wanted it to look sloppy because you'll see here in a second, Trey's going to come out, and we want people thinking that this is how we're going to inbound the ball. But watch Gordon Hayward right here. What he's going to do is he's just going to wait patient, boom, set him up, and finish for an alley-oop. And you can see the passer does the same thing. Gordon knows exactly what he's doing. Boom. Lob.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Good stuff. That's a ton of good stuff there. Lot to digest for people. Again, could drive you crazy. I always drop your email address, but so it's G Jorns, Graham
Yep.
Jorns, right?
Yep.
Jorns at gmu.edu. So if people want some of this film clips or other things, certainly, hopefully we get to the point in time where we are, we're able to practice and let people come in to watch practice, and certainly they can reach out to you and coordinate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate your time sharing this, okay? Really, really well done. When it stops raining, you give me 2 strokes on front, 2 strokes on the back, 1 bonus revolving stroke and I'm going to kick your rear end.
You got a deal. You
All
got
right.
a deal. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Georgie.